Uh, and then Streamlab gets a fist shaken at it because it didn't change anything. Okay, we can hear me now. All right, I can hear me now. So, hello, welcome to Dirty 20 Gaming. As usual, we screwed it up. My name is Kevin, that's on me. These wonderful people have agreed to join me for a silly game this evening, and I appreciate that more than you can imagine. We're going to get to them in a second, but first, Roll20 is our virtual tabletop of choice. We're going to be using that tonight. We're playing the Tiny Frontiers system. That one. Tiny Frontiers Revised. It is a super simple system, as you're going to see tonight. This adventure was originally called Bears in Space. It came from that book. You will notice there are no bears in tonight's sketch, and there's no space either. So never let it be said that I don't say yes to my players, because almost immediately after agreeing to be in this, at least 2 of them contacted me and said some version of, so how bear-like does this bear have to bear-like be? And so we have ended up with a cybernetic goose, an axolotl in a reverse spacesuit, and a shall we say, sugar-sensitive sugar glider who is on the brink of an explosion of some sort. We'll see what that is in a minute. But first we have to meet the people behind these characters. And this is my favorite part, because without you guys, it would just be me sitting here telling a story I already knew. And that would be boring. So, thank you in advance for screwing up my game tonight. I love it. Let's start with Hellhounds20, who has brought us Goose. Watch carefully. Anybody who didn't see the first episode of this, watch carefully. But thank you very much for joining us. And where else can they find you when you're not here?
You can find me on Twitter doing random shenanigans on tabletop, or sharing weird things with my friends, or replying to other VTubers. Or you can find me on Twitch as a PNG tuber playing whatever the heck I feel like.
That is the best possible thing to do. If you stream for fun. That's what it's for. Thank you very much for joining us, and thank you in advance for what the mayhem I know you're all going to bring. Speaking of mayhem part 2, oh, see that sudden change. You gotta watch them geese. They can't be trusted. But speaking of animals that can't be trusted, never turn your back on an axolotl. Miyu, thank you for joining us this evening. I know you did all your own art in-game and for the stream itself. That is one of your many, many skills. Where you stream a lot. What have you been doing recently?
Recently I've been on hiatus, but you can still find me over on Mew the Jellycat everywhere. And next week I'm gonna pick back up with the Turn of Return in Minecraft.
Very, very cool. And that, just as they are distracted. But that brings us around to Mana Queen. Thank you for joining us. I know you have a busy real life as well. Have you had a chance to get much gaming in?
Here and there. Mostly I'm over on Twitter, and sometimes every Wednesday I'm on Twitch over with Wandering Haven, playing over there. And yeah, that's the extent of my gaming these days right now.
Well, By all means, anybody who hasn't yet, yes, please put your links in the chat. There we go. And I will respond with anybody who is watching who doesn't know us or is watching this in the future. I guess, yeah, you can see the chat. Come to our Discord. Come and join us. If you want to get into one of these games, yes. You have no experience, I don't care. You have no camera, I also don't care. Just come and play with us. If you want to play and you're willing to stream, we want you here. In, let's face it, one of the most supportive places on the internet.
A very, very
Yes.
welcoming community.
It is, yeah. I am super, super proud to be part of it. But I'll use that as a segue, sure. Speaking of things I'm super, super proud of, many, many weeks ago, this group from Sapience Incorporated, a cybernetic goose, an axolotl in an inside-out spacesuit, and a sugar glider with a habit, were sent to solve a mystery. An invasion of sorts from the way it was pitched to you. Evil, furry giants of beasts coming out of the ice after who knows how long and terrorizing the local colonists of the planet. Once you got there, some stuff happened and some other stuff happened, and you guys decided to just go for it. And why not just go right to the base of these things and find out what the hell is going on? You did so, and you very nearly died in a huge, massive isolanche. I know that's not really a word, it is now. Both sides of the valley collapsing in with this green ice. It must have looked like waterfalls of emeralds. But you were too busy looking the other way and fleeing for your lives. But after that was done, because geese can fly, you took off and lifted up on top of the ice sheet to go and investigate and see what happened at the source of the avalanche. Once you got set up and started looking around, you saw on a ridgeline a whole row of little tiny heads. Little furry brown heads with big furry ears and great big eyes. And little cute noses and snoots looking at you over the edge. If I remember correctly, this caused the three of you to bristle for war. And that's where we left off. So, that's probably where we should start. Who wants to go first?
From what I remember, Goose's backpack had suddenly opened
Yes,
and revealed that they are armed with a chainsaw.
yes. Yes.
But
A Husk Goose Varna, if I just, yeah, thank you.
they're not moving to grab the chainsaw. Their eyes are locked on this row of fuzzies,
Perfect.
just seeing what they do.
Absolutely. Lala, what do you do? No, I want to save Lala for last because you're cramped. Let's go instead with Lottie. What is
I
your
don't think Lottie's figured out we're in danger yet. He's waving.
Okay, Lottie just. Oh, look. And that brings us to because you're vibrating at this point.
Oh yeah.
What do you do? There's like 20 little furry heads, and nobody's doing anything about it.
Pretty sure if I remember correctly, we ended last with Lois just going, "Bring it on."
And
With the little face makeup on the face.
Yeah, bring it on.
So you charge at this row of bears. Is that my correct interpretation? Is that a correct interpretation? I'll bring it on.
She's
Or you-
vibrating. She's not gonna charge, but she's like,
Yeah.
"I'm ready."
You're in full pose mode. You are
Oh yeah.
You are outside the bar. Yeah, just ready to go.
Yeah.
Just get out here. Okay. Perfect. All of you held off just a tiny bit. Just enough to hear behind these heads a deep chord made up of dozens of voices. I can only approximate it by going, ah, like everything vibrates. The ice just, not in a bad way, not like it's coming apart, but like it's an elemental sound. The 20 heads is one go, foomp, foomp, and in a row, they all disappear, one after another behind this hill. And you hear little feet crunching in the crushed ice that this area now is. Off into the distance. What do you do?
The backpack closes, and like in Goose's like desktop, we see that little desktop Goose has actually been picked up by an like some sort of cursor and held over the recycle bin, while the program to use the chainsaw is like slowly starting to deflate. Like you have to charge it for it to be used.
It's got a cool down period. Okay. I love this video game. Thank you for getting us back into it immediately with that comment. That's perfect. What do the other two do? Goose powers down. One of the 3 bars above their head disappears slowly.
Lala just goes, "Oh, come on!"
and Lottie?
Where'd they go? They were right there. I guess they didn't want to say hi.
You hear that tone again, but this time it doesn't stop. I'm going to, because I have one set of lungs, but this time the tone does not stop. Just, and it's just starting to build and get more and more powerful as more and more voices join in.
Goose is gonna get up, look at the other two. Should we go check it out? I almost forgot the voice.
The voice says.
Yeah.
Do you want to ride or do you want to walk?
Ride.
Lala goes, to be fair, Lala starts, she's like, "Let's go!" And she like starts charging, and probably after like 4 or 5 normal Goose strides, she looks back and she goes, "Maybe a ride."
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna do this. Like they're gonna use their mechanical arm to put Lottie.
Yep.
In the back, and then they're going to slap, 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 follow Lala, reach their beak down to grab him and put him on their back like a mama dinosaur.
Oh, yes, yes, here we go. I'm back in the Sapiens Incorporated tank formation. All guns prepared to blaze, you move forward. Slap, 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 slap. You get to a point where you can see over the ridge. And you can see, I mean, you only had a second, probably the same 20 heads, plus about 20 more. And they've grouped into, I'll explain the area first. Just beyond this ridge is where the avalanche happened.
Yep.
This is where a huge chunk of glacier just shattered and went down the side of the mountain. It started all of this. So it's a slightly less sharp angle. But on that, there's a row of like 10 of these little bear things, and then below that there's 9, and then below that there's 8. It's an inverted pyramid of bears, all hooked arm in arm, down to the one at the bottom. It's pulling bodies, little bear bodies, out of the rubble of the ice avalanche. And all the ones in the pyramid are making the noise. All together, just ah. You're clearly seeing some form of death rate. There's about, actually, let's do a roll. So it's something other than me telling a story. Everybody just give me just a standard roll, unless you can tell me why you can see stuff better than anybody else can.
That's a
Unless
that's
like you have like
2d6?
Yeah, just a
right?
test on the on your character sheet. Nope. Nope. Nope.
Oh, I did the wrong thing. I mean, I did, but I didn't.
It works. Yeah, but no, it didn't work.
Goose,
So it all comes down to Goose. Are you
Goose is
doing?
gonna close their organic eye and turn the mechanical one towards it, and then start adjusting it like a camera lens to zoom in.
Yeah, absolutely. Give us the roll. That's gotta be worth a success. Give us a roll. Come on, roll 20. You heard that. That was good role play. Oh, make me wait for it. Oh.
Ah.
No. That's okay. That works. None of you notice anything in particular other than that. There's a number of dead mini bears down at the bottom of this thing. There was a number of them killed in the avalanche. They're completely ignoring you at this point as you peek over the three heads kind of boop, and then behind the neck, one comes out this way and the other one comes out this
Yeah.
way. Just this freaky inverted peace sign, right? The three-pronged peace sign sticking over the horizon.
Temporarily become a Hydra.
Yes. So what do you do? Thank you for being funny, because the start of this week is not funny. But
Yeah.
Lala definitely looks like she's like, she kind of does this like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You know, she's like counting all the little
47.
Okay.
Or
Yeah,
thereabouts.
she-
They're like the ones in the pyramid are easy to count, but there's a couple other ones milling
Right.
around, so it's kind of hard
Yeah.
to keep track of
But
them.
yeah, she's just like
47-ish.
Oops, numbers.
Many. With a
Mala
capital
says
many.
numbers. You see Lottie like flipped his fingers up and go 1, 2, 3, 4.
If you sit down, you can get to 16. If you can bring actually, if you can bring the gills forward, there's a bazillion little feedly doodlies on that, right? You could count to many. But
Goose only has 3 fingers on their mechanical arms. So they open their wing, which has dozens of feathers.
the whole row of feathers, yeah.
1, 2, 3.
That many, a whole wing and a bit's worth of flight feathers. That's how many there are there, Goose. I know. Since the work, there's not a lot of brain and not a lot of space in there for the organic part of the brain. The eye took up a lot of skull. I get it.
Goose is gonna start walking over to like I guess like the anchor points of
Yep.
these ropes of mini bears,
Yep.
and their arms are going to buff out,
It-
and they're just
Yeah.
gonna very carefully grab the anchor bears,
Yep.
and when like they give the signal, they're gonna start helping pull.
Absolutely. The other two on the back.
Lala she doesn't like this idea, considering the inverse pyramid of threatening bears. But she's also going to kind of hop off of Goose's back and go over to the pyramid. And if there's like a spot for her, right, in one
Yep.
of the rows, she's literally just going to go in and just start go. Like she's just
One of them-
she's just gonna do it with them.
One of them makes a space for you and very carefully gets out of the space. You get in there and get all your hands and feet set up. And from a distance, you can imagine like it's just this like framework of bears, like it's all arms and legs, except in one spot there's this very small tent. Because when you're stretched out, you got your wings, right?
Yeah.
It's just-
Exactly.
and everybody else is going, oh, and you're going, yeah.
Yes, that is exactly what's happening right now. Lala
Absolutely.
doesn't know what's happening, but
Yep.
she figures maybe if she does it with them,
Yes.
they won't attack them.
Oh, fit in, yes.
Fake it till you make it.
Absolutely, and they bought into this because I love this idea. No rolls necessary. Oh boy, see the problem with waiting for last in this game is now you're up against those two. Lottie, what do you do?
I still don't think Lottie knows what's going on. I think he's
Okay.
still confused.
Okay,
I think he's just kind of turning it around. Hi, hello, hi, hi.
I'll look
Hi.
up at you.
are you doing? I like your reading.
Yeah.
How big are these things?
Well, let me ask you this way: are you like a goose-sized goose?
I believe I remember we said that I am a goose that feeds the entire family for the holiday dinner. So like
Right.
2 hands to lift me out of the.
Right.
Freezer.
Okay. So yeah, these things are basically looking you in the eyes.
Okay, so the same size as me.
Yeah, but they're built like bears, not like geese, right? Yeah, much less neck, a lot more fur.
Oh, Lala is not being held by their hands; they're being held by their arms.
Yes.
Those big hands.
Oh yeah, arms and feet. Like these things have almost prehensile feet, but luckily so do sugar gliders. They really do. So yeah, you're just like a high tension wire, and you're vibrating, but not from the tension. It's like you brought this with you. This is the yeah. So, everybody roll again another standard test as you try and figure out what's really going on here. Lottie gets it. Lala gets it. Goose, not so much. That's okay. Lottie and Lala. That makes sense. Goose is kind of pulling, heaving, and trying to get this back up. The rest of you are in it. Lala, you kind of look down and you can see way down at the bottom of the pyramid. Whereas Lottie, you're kind of walking along going, hello, hello, hello. You get to the end and you look down and you can look to see this whole line of people. Say, how am I going to say hello to all of them? I have to climb down the hill. This is going to be complicated. But then the two of you see at the bottom, there's about 7 or 8 little bear bodies that are being wrapped up in a long, pale brown cloth. It's very much a very much a funeral ritual about it. There is down at the very bottom one sort of older gray-haired bear who is in charge, by which he occasionally walks around and looks at one of the other ones and corrects their pitch. But that's about it. What do you do with that information, you two? Goose, you don't know this unless one of them tells you, of course. Oh, but Goose, give me another roll for strength to try and pull this pile up. They are trying to move the bodies up this pyramid, and they are having difficulties.
I am using my sniper arm, so it's at
Of
advantage.
course you are. Oh, look at that. 2 successes, yeah. You find that spot like a fisherman pulling in a net, and you just start reeling, just bzzz, and then you sort of hold it down with your feet, splat, and you grab it and pull, bzzz, splat, bzzz, splat, bzzz, splat. Oh, I love the soundtrack in this game. But yes, you do that, and you actually start reeling in the entire pile. They quickly just grab the others as they're wrapping them and grab onto the bottom as you pull up this entire inverted pyramid. As each row comes up, Lottie, there's like 18 of them in the first row, there's 17 in the second row. Are you continuing to introduce yourself to all of them?
I think he's gonna be quieter, go like hi, and then he's gonna try to help.
Yeah, absolutely. So you start, and your little feet are spinning, and your little spacesuit's sweating up from all the effort inside. But because this game is this game, give me a test. I'm not even going to make you do it at disadvantage. You are a very powerful axolotl. Nope. Your feet are spinning on the ice. That's all that is. The soles of your spacesuit, inside out spacesuit, are not gripping on the ice. This inside-out spacesuit has had my science head in an absolute tizzy for weeks because keeping a pressure out is much, much easier than keeping a pressure in. So full of water inside an atmosphere is actually quite a bit worse than full of air inside inside space. But anyway, never mind. It's the future. But yes, you pull for all your might, and all you accomplish is skid marks in the green ice. But oh, I need one more roll because Lala, you're just under perfect tension. But like a bridge under perfect tension, when one side starts to go up, this starts to get harder to do. And so give me a roll, just a regular standard test. Oh yeah. You have to kind of flap one wing for a second to get caught up, but yeah, you do that thing, almost like the falling thing where you spin your hands, but you recover. You maintain your position. Next to you, one of the little bears looks over and goes, Like they're impressed with how strong you are. And with that, you start to pull this whole triangle up. They don't stop the chant until the last one is up on the level. They finish wrapping them. One or two of them are looking at you, but most of them have decided you're sort of not a threat, and they're getting this ritual done. They wrap them up and put them up on their shoulders. There's 5 or 6 of them carrying each one of the deceased. And the same tone starts again, and they all start to walk away in the direction that you know their camp is. The last one to go is the old gray one, and just before he leaves, he turns and looks at the 3 of you and bows to the point where he puts his front paws on the ground and for a brief second looks like a bear instead of a bipedal bear, and then stands back up, kind of shakes his head a little bit, and turns around and follows the rest of them.
Sir?
Oh,
Yeah,
Turn
Lala's
around
gonna
and-
call out to him saying, sir. Yeah.
Turns around and looks at you, and
Goose is going to use, because now their mechanical arms are inflated, they have a bit more expression with them.
yep,
So they're going to point to their little groups of themselves, Lottie and Lala, and then point to follow and tilt their head like question mark. Like, can we follow?
right away there's like a knee-jerk reaction. It's just, and then there's a pause, and they make they don't put their fingers in their mouth, but they make a noise. They're clearly whistling, but you can't hear it. Unless somebody can convince me that one of your species has incredibly high-pitched hearing, like beyond dog kind of hearing, but I don't think it's the axolotl.
I 100% totally
Those
have
are
that
not
hearing.
ears.
It totally gets filtered into my suit, and then I can hear perfectly.
That's true, actually. The vibration of the suit, that pressure working for you. Ooh, damn! Now I got something to think about for the next 2 weeks. Okay. So yeah, they whistle, and one of the other ones breaks off from the group and comes back and stops as they separate from the group. They're all touching. As they separate from the group, they stop to chant, and you realize that as long as they're in the group, they're doing the chant. If they aren't, then they don't. And comes back, and there's a banter back and forth between the two of them in a language. It's like, no, nope, like no idea. There's no way anybody speaks it. And then
One of the mechanical arms deflates, reaches up behind Goose's head to that little antenna, starts like wiggling it,
yeah,
and they're gonna start recording their language to slowly start processing a way of translating it.
okay. Yeah, you engage the beast. Give me an advantage roll. You wiggled your antenna. You what now? Okay. Oh, you wiggled the wrong antenna. It did not, at this point, it did not work. But you start recording, but you don't get any data, is what I mean. So you don't, you get data, you don't gain any information. You haven't heard enough yet. Let me try that again. Yeah, you haven't heard enough yet.
I think the audio needs like a lot of work because like there's wind blowing into the microphone.
Yeah.
And there's also the clink of the bobber hitting the top of like the metal skull. There's Lottie.
Lottie just straight up
Lala.
ran into your antenna.
There's like a whatever, like if Lottie like says anything that's picked up. There's the entire buzzing that is Lala.
Yeah,
That is-
it's one of those frequencies you can't quite hear. Yeah. Yep. Oh yeah. But with that, the conversation between the two bears finishes, and the young one turns and walks towards you. And as they do, you see they're young, like they're not even filled out, like full adult bear. They're really young, and they keep coming towards you, and they every couple of meters they stop and turn around away from you and put their hands up, and then turn towards you and move forward again and turn around and put their hands up. It's obviously their way of like surrendering, like don't shoot me, don't shoot me. and they finally get to you, and they say something, but it doesn't mean anything. And then they kind of, the old bear says something from a distance, and they go, and then they look at you, and they start leading you back the way you came, towards the main village. The colony.
Leading us
Human
back.
village or their village?
The colony, the one you were sent here to investigate.
They're leading us back there?
Yep. That direction.
Huh.
Lala's confused.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we were going to go that way with you guys.
Me too.
They realize you're not following them and turn around.
Goose is going to do the universal sign of being confused by scratching their head.
Lottie is copying the thing that he did earlier and just holding his hands up. That's what it means.
Yep. Okay. And in that case, after a little while, they kind of, and they keep looking where the old bear went, like they really wish they could ask for advice right now. And then they give you the universal symbol back. They, meh. And they look at you, Goose, because you sort of started the conversation as such as it is, and they just gesture towards the direction you were going. It's like, after you.
They're going to point in the direction the group went and then scratch their head like, can we follow them? The
eyes kind of, for a moment, they're thinking, and all of a sudden, oh. And they start moving that way, but at a slight angle, up a ridge in the ice to what's going to be a higher level of this glacier. And they're really quite excited. They go about 20 or 30 meters and turn around, and like this time it's the whole hand, like, come on. But it's in the right direction, but not following the procession.
Goose is going to let the other two climb on, then hurry after them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good idea, Goose.
Down. The goose changes. And, oh, perfect. You're heading off into the icy wilderness. What better than a Canadian Cobra chicken? Perfect. Absolutely perfect. And
Does it look like we're needing to be stealthy?
Certainly not the way the bear's moving. Nope. Like he's just boom, 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 boom. They are just boom, 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 just straight lining it through the snow. Or ice. There's no snow up here. It's just ice. So it's all because it's all shattered like emerald glass. What, if anything, do you do while you're following this thing? Now that it's going, and it's much better suited for this than a goose is. I mean, you're like flap, flap, skid, flap, 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 skid, flapping your wings to stay vertical, like like you're landing on ice in the winter. Something that sentience still hasn't helped. It's difficult landing on ice,
I think Lala is gonna look around to see like if they can still see the big group.
Yep.
Right, or if they're leading them like, I mean, it's the right direction, but it's not following them. So like, where are they going?
Okay, give me a roll. Just a regular 2D.
Okay.
A regular test.
Oof.
Nope, no clue. You're looking around and it's like, ice over there. More ice. You know what? What? That ice. Yeah, looks a lot like that ice. Okay, thank you, Lala.
Lala's ice
everywhere.
Ice,
Oh my god, you're right. There is ice everywhere.
We're surrounded. Yeah, the two of you realize we're utterly
surrounded.
surrounded by ice.
It's like that video. Like we're gonna go on a tour of the Middle East. What's over there? Dirt. Over there, a pile of dirt. There's more dirt.
Yeah.
Sand everywhere. Do not recommend. You don't see anything. You guys continue on following the wee bear. They take you up quite a ridge. In fact, it's kind of slippy and sloppy, but you make it. You make it to the top. And you see a campsite, but it's a very human campsite. There's a tent, but it's ancient. It looks like it's made out of some kind of weird plastic. It's not a proper nano-grown tent like you would do if you were any kind of reasonable person. There's an actual fire pit where they were burning wood like some kind of bizarre barbarians. Everything here is like hundreds of years old in the tech that they're using. There's a, for goodness sakes, metal frying pan sitting next to the fire. It's ridiculous. But that is what the bear stops and points at. There's two little pup tents, we would call them, like two little single-person tents.
The first thing Goose does is see if they can find any of that terrible itching goo anywhere.
Did you bring any with you?
They had a filter scan
Yeah.
Oh,
that
yes.
they could project and highlight it.
Yes. Okay, yes, you have the goo. Yeah,
Is it anywhere in the campsite?
goo-goos. Oh, you're searching for
Yeah,
more?
I'm seeing if it's there. That's what the scan is.
Oh, okay. Give me the scan then. With that advantage, because you're scanning. You're like, this is your thing. You're cybernetic. There it is. The only goo in this immediate area is in the bear.
In the bear.
Yep. Right? Like here, almost like venom glands, but there's no bitey teeth. In fact, you got the success. It looks like they can spit it. Like a defense mechanism. And then run while you're being tickled madly. Yeah. Let that sink in.
While Lottie and Lala are in their little cups, similar to like how they were strapped down for their flight, a little screen pops up like an in-flight movie, and it shows like a very, very crappy CGI demonstration of one of these bears spitting the itch goo,
Yep.
and it says, "Warning: Do not provoke."
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And there's like copyright-free music playing.
Yeah. 8-bit graphics. Yep. Oh yeah, I can hear it. Yep, absolutely. So yes, now that you all know, they can spit it. The itchy goo. It's a
They
defense
spit it.
mechanism. Yes. Like like they shoot it.
Lala just goes, cool.
Uh,
Doesn't it itch?
Lottie, you're inside a spacesuit basically, so not gonna work on you. Yeah, just yeah. I love
Lottie
how
is
so,
with me.
like, I love Lottie's brain because one thing at a time can be in there. Absolutely and precisely one thing at a time.
Exactly one, no more,
Yeah.
no less.
Yep.
Oh yeah, we're following someone.
Yeah.
Oh, there's
okay.
two? Well, that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Lottie has exactly one brain cell.
Yep.
Yes.
And part of that's running the gills. So yeah. I just like doing that and wiggling it because if you just do that, you're just a moose, right? That's not what. Yeah. That'll be a different. The next time we play bears in space,
Don't tempt me.
we'll do.
We go from
we'll do
pint
antlered
size to giant
ungulates.
size.
Entered ungulates in low orbit.
Don't tempt me
size
because I'm going to
to
go the
big
opposite
size.
direction.
But we should get back to this game first.
Yeah.
So you see in front of you this campsite. There's nobody in it. Your scan found that. There's nobody here, but it's clearly human campsite, not these little bears. Meese in space.
Hey, you're fixed, mana.
Oh, yay. I was like, oh no. Oh no.
Goose is going to waddle into camp and kind of like an actual cobra chicken, sneak their head around corners, like into the tents and all these weird places. So whenever like Lottie and Lala look at Goose, their head is gone.
Yep. Yes. Yeah, I know exactly how that looks because, yeah, they look around corners by coming to a door frame and coming out like this. And looking at you and then going away. Yeah, I can just see this goose head just making appearances on all the and looking over stuff and coming back down, just periscope and everything. Yes. So in that case, give me a roll with advantage. to see what you can find, while the other two tell me what they're doing. Are you guys still on Goose's back? Wow. It's up
I
to
think
yeah.
I think Lala is gonna like climb off of Goose's back and
Okay.
like get closer to this campsite to be like, because she's like, what the heck is this stuff?
Yeah.
No, she knows the bear creatures like don't speak their language, so she's gonna kind of like skitter over the ice.
Yeah.
But sugar gliders do actually have very sticky hands,
Oh
right?
yes.
Like they're good at gripping. So she's just
Yes.
like la 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 la
Yep.
la, like
Yep.
she's Lala,
Yep.
la 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 la, you know.
I get this. I just keep seeing like basically a ferret in a wingsuit jumping through the snow. But,
Yeah, literally kind of what she's doing. And she's jumping like kind of over to things. She's not gonna jump on them, but
Yep.
like, you know, she's jumping around, looking at them,
Excellent.
and then she kind of like points to like the campsite, points to the bear, points to the campsite, points to the bear, and then it's like, like,
The
do you know who's this was? Like, what is why are we here, right? You know.
the bear looks at you and goes over by the now out fireplace, and sits on one side and sits down and goes, and then gets up and runs around the other side and sits down and goes, and then gets up and runs around the first side and goes, and has an argument with themselves and does a really good human imitation as two people arguing with each other.
I think
Okay.
I got a piece of we got like a lock of fur last time. Could I like take the fur from Goose and then like walk over to the bear and just press it into him to see if it matches?
They look down at you, and they look at the fur, they look at their fur, and they reach up and kind of pull out a little mat that was behind one of their ears. The eye closes. It's like, getting the nose hair. But they pull it out and hand that to you. And yeah, actually, give me your roll, where you can scientific this. Or anything. You look at that. Look at you, Tiffin. They match perfectly. You put them beside each other and they mesh, like gears. So clearly, same source.
Yep.
Clearly,
Alright,
obvious. Yeah.
I'm gonna take both pieces of fur and try to put it back onto the bear.
Like,
They.
you make the motion to lick your thumb, but it just wipes on your bullet.
Yep, yep.
Think, think, and you start pushing it back on the bear. And at first they look at you, and then they bend down because you're even smaller, and lean forward and kind of make a little hole in their sort of beardy fur, and offer that to you. Just put the two pieces in.
Put it back in.
It'll make you happy.
And they
here.
very carefully work it back in. They think this is your ritual. They think so they're being very, very appropriate, very, not messing with this. They're taking it very, very seriously.
Lottie looks very happy.
And they go, and at that they lean down and do the all fours thing again to you, where they bow down until they go into their true bear form. And it appears to be a show of great respect.
Lottie's gonna do it back. He doesn't really get it, but he's just gonna copy it.
Bunk. And then back up. Yeah. Oh, it's a blessing and a curse to be able to watch this like a movie. It is so much fun in my head. But with that, Lottie, yes, absolutely, positively, this is bear fur, which takes. Oh, go.
I'm gonna go to Lottie. Do you think they have the Twinkies? Do you think?
Oh, Lala, you're coming
Ask.
down like by now. The sugar's wearing off, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. She hears Twinkies. She's like, the Twinkies.
Do you think they? Can we ask?
Poink, poink, poink. Urch. Twinkies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like exactly. Like it's like a little like almost like a meerkat through the snow.
Yeah.
While it's like dives into it, scurries through, and she's like, Twinkies.
Yeah. So, Lala, you've been the one that's had the longest time since you've done a test. So, in responding to the offer of Cookie, or whatever it was, I already forgot. Go ahead and give us a standard roll.
Okay.
Perfect. You go Cookie, and one foot slips, and you look down thinking, "Damn, ice!" But it didn't slip on ice. It slipped on a small bullock. Oh no, book. That's what they were called. That's what they were called in the long olden times. A book.
Probably
It
the
has
size of her.
like a covered. Yeah, it's big. It's covered in some kind of weird fake skin. It's tied shut with a bit of string, and there's some kind of weird stick with a dark end on it and a kind of a brown end on the other end.
Oh, like
But-
stops and she looks and she's just like poking it.
And it,
She's like sniffing it, right?
Yeah.
She's like trying to snivel over it. She's like sticking her hands on it, like trying to
Yeah,
like
oh,
she's like
yeah.
pulling at the string
You,
and like she's like, what is this?
yeah, you're just checking it out and you're sniffing it. It's like, oh, it smells like man. But you can't, you're picking at it, and your finger kind of sticks to the cover, and you kind of lift it up a little bit and see if you can read any words.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh yeah. She's already like undone the tie. And
Okay,
What
it's
do you-
already just like
yeah.
throw it open. Okay, you find it's a journal, so it's got the last entry is the last thing that they wrote, and it goes back in time from there. So it opens up to the last page, and it reads: "With each passing day, we find it easier to interpret the body language and gestures of the knights, even if we dare not get close enough to hear and translate their language. The situation remains the same as it has been since we arrived. Agravain, Bedivere, and Gawain continue to argue in favor of fleeing or leaving, whilst Lancelot, Percival, and Galahad want to attack the colony and destroy it. Mordred continues to sneak out in the middle of the night and sit on the throne. Guinevere continues to be nonplussed by it all, and no decision seems imminent." That's the last page that you read. Do you share that with the others? That you might ponder it as a
Yes.
group?
Yes.
You kind of push it across the ice and it slides and spins. The other two. Please don't take this as a rude question, but can Lottie read?
No.
No,
No,
absolutely
okay.
not. Are you?
Okay.
Oh, I thought you said can Lala read. I mean, Lala can kind of read.
You
She
can
probably
read,
understands like half of
you
it.
read that, so yeah, you
Yeah.
can read now if you couldn't before. You were suddenly attacked with the ability.
Yeah,
So-
no, Lottie can absolutely not read.
Okay. So is somebody going to tell Lottie what it says?
Goose picks it up.
Yeah.
They are actually highly educated.
Yep. It would be.
They can read.
Yep.
They just choose not to half the time.
Yep.
But
I like highly educated. Give me 3d6. Give me a roll with advantage.
okay.
And then I'm going to ask the players. I'm going to come out of... I don't do this very often, but we're going to come out of character. After we see the... Perfect. Okay. You figured it out. Your character figured it out. Did anybody catch... as players, did anybody catch the references?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All of
yeah.
you got it? Excellent.
Oh,
Good.
yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent. It was obvious enough. Good. I was worried. I picked some weird ones. But yeah. So, yes, Goose, you figure out. They're talking about Knights of the Round Table, but they're clearly talking about these bears. There's pages in this journal. Somebody's been up here for days and days.
Is there a date written on any of these pages?
That entry is last night.
This was last night.
The book.
They're gonna flip to the first entry.
You flip back and you start reading through. First of all, they're referring to them as the Knights of the Round Table because they eat in a large circle. And one of the people that wrote this was an English major. You also find out that this circle, the Knights, it's not the whole group. It's only about 8 or 9 of them. They all appear to be male. Somebody in this group has figured out how to tell the males from the females. And they, every night over dinner, they converse. It's almost like a Roman forum. They clearly discuss things and come to agreement. Well, they try to come to agreements, but the person who makes the final decision is the matriarch of the group, the one that they call Guinevere. And from what they've seen, Guinevere is very hard to convince, but once their mind is made up, there is no stopping them. But what is absolutely clear is that Guinevere has not made up her mind to attack or leave.
Is there any descriptions of like where they've been going? Like the last one mentioned a throne.
Yep. But it's easy enough to see. You kind of, now that you've read this, you look outside, and there's a trail, a path going downhill towards where you know these the ice is melting and these shelters were coming out of the ice. And it looks like it's been tread both ways multiple times, like 5 or 6 days, 2 people each way,
Okay.
worn down with the ice.
Goose is gonna look at the bear.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna gesture to the whole camp, and they're going to gesture to the bear, gesture to the camp, and then inflate their arms to make the motion of have these guys been aggressive towards you.
Oh, okay, I see. They kind of, and then they go.
Okay, good.
Watching.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a. Oh, I looked here. Okay, react. No, react. Sorry, the program's finicky. We see the desktop again, and we see the little desktop goose waddle over to a notepad and put a big X next to murder people rude to fuzzies. And then it writes a new code: murder people rude to tinies.
Yes. Yeah. And with that, we'll give this last bit because, well, I can't give it to Lottie because I can't read. Lala, you flip back to the very front page and you realize that they've titled their notes Adventures in Camelot.
Lola goes, Camelot? Are we in Camelot?
And there's a badly drawn castle. But this is so archaic. Like it sounds relatively normal to us, but it's been 1,000 years since anybody had a book. Oh, I'm sorry, a book. Yeah, this is creepy old, right?
Yeah. Lola's just like, she kind of like flips and she points to the picture of the castle and like looks at the bear, like looks at the castle and like gestures around of like, where's the castle?
And it looks, and then goes over and uses its arm to kind of polish a spot on the ice and uses a claw, a not inconsiderable claw, to start scratching a picture. And it's just a little bunch of little mounds with doors. Like they're not even like thatched huts. They're just like a beehive almost with a door on the front.
Does Lala know where that is? Or is that...
And then they point down the trail. Ahead of
Okay.
Yeah.
Lala's like, we go? We go, yeah, go. And she kind of like mimes marching and is like pointing and then marching.
Goose, you see like the little mechanical brain is like starting to flicker lights, and then the LEDs come together to make a light bulb shape,
Yeah.
and they print like, oh, I think I understand something here. And they're going to hunker down so the other two can climb on
Okay. And
whenever they're ready, of course.
Yeah, Lottie reaches over to the book and double taps it to try to make it push play.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you
Yeah,
have
well,
to
you know,
use.
the text to
Yeah.
type on this is broken. It just doesn't work. Yeah. You can't change. Well, you have to like, lift it up and it's really hard to change. It makes no sense. Absolutely no sense. Why would anybody do this? But you guys load up. The sapient Hydra heads forth down the trail
Ah.
towards Camelot.
I'm gonna pull. If you say this is what you need, it's gonna happen, like you do, Kevin.
Oh yes, yes.
Kevin, dang it, Goose grabs the book and
Yeah.
a slot opens up on the backpack, and they insert it. The text is all scanned and read
Yep.
in text to speech
Yep.
for Lottie.
You just boop, boop, boop. And because this is like 1,000 years from now, it automatically puts together like a holographic PowerPoint presentation of the history and the reason why the names make sense.
Yeah.
And yeah, the whole story complete with pictures of real castles and pictures of Kniggets, you know, because
they,
that's
like,
the
the-
one word it mispronounced.
But the problem is, like, this is Goose's AI doing it.
Yes.
So it's all in the style of a very sassy YouTuber. So it's just Goose wearing like a professor's outfit,
Yeah,
telling you this.
yeah, I love
And
it.
it's still historic and
Yeah.
teaching you. It's just very sassy.
It reminds me of, it's different, but it reminds me of, there was a show called Drunk History.
Yeah.
Where they'd get famous people
Yes.
hammered and have them explain historical events. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get a kind of that sort of vibe off of it, but I love it. So, you make your way forward in this glistening green world. Your jobs, your careers, everything on the line. What the hell is going on?
As they're going, Goose is talking to the two. I think I might have figured out why the food is missing and what's going on with the bears. And their head is going to swivel around, but the body is going to keep walking.
Yep,
'Cause they can do that.
yep.
What do bears do during the winter?
Somebody say it so I don't have to.
Your cup lights up like a game show.
Lala's just like, oh, they sleep, they hibernate, they go.
That's true.
Lala, by the way, has crashed. So she like
Yes.
mimes like doing that,
Yeah.
but she actually just like
Mm.
passes out for like 2
Mm.
minutes.
you're into the micro sleeps now. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
The airline Goose thing occurs again. You get a seat and a blanket and a pillow.
Oh yeah. Lala's out for like a minute or two.
The little bear reaches behind his back and kind of fusses around for a second and pulls out a Twinkie, still wrapped, and holds it out to
It's the-
Lala.
It's
Sorry?
a crinkle. It's a crinkle.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Her crinkle, Lala's like, and she sees the Twinkie and she's literally is like, for me. She grabs it, she
Yeah.
crinkles it, her little fingers crinkle it open, and she literally like hugs it almost like a koala would hug a branch.
There you go.
Right?
Aw.
She hugs this
This
Twinkie.
stuff comes out
and
of the end right in your face.
and she's just like, it's just,
Oh, you started that, but yeah, that's yep, okay. Yeah, you're eating the Twinkie like you just like a cat
Yes.
fighting its toy, right? All 4 feet
Yes.
holding on to it, just just feeding it in.
yes, that is Lala right now. She's good for the
And
next
kind
couple
of
of minutes.
the bear kind of backs up half a step. And at first you think it's fear, and you realize it's raw respect. It's just like, damn, you can eat. You know? But the rest of you see as it disappears. I'm assuming you don't even take it out of the package. You just kind of use your feet to squeeze it out of the package. So yeah, the package falls away as you're finishing it off. And the other two of you can see, well, you can see it, but only one of you can read it, is the stamp of the colony on the bottom of the Twinkie. This is definitely from the base.
The package does not go very far because a mechanical device inside the backpack snatches it to recycle it.
Yep. And it scans the 3D QR cube. And yes, you know which shelf this was on, everything about this Twinkie.
Because I'll be damned if we litter.
Turns out they were right. This Twinkie is 1,800 years old.
That's amazing.
And you look over at Lala, and it's like apparently as good as day. Just
But,
Real gremlin hours for Lala.
yeah. Do not feed
Yeah,
after midnight. Now look what you've done.
Goose has politely waited for all that to stop
Yeah.
before continuing.
Oh, the sugar glider tongue coming out and taking the stuff off like your forehead and your
Yep.
ears. And,
Yep.
yeah, eyeball. Just,
Yep.
yeah. Sorry, I
Um,
keep cutting you off, Goose.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm used to it. This goes. This planet has a 3-year-long winter. It's spring now. What do bears do when they wake up from spring?
Poop in the woods.
Wake up.
They eat.
Oh, they do that too. Yeah.
They move around. They eat. He looks at Lala, like while they're kind of Schmeagle actions, like on their fingers, like licking all the cream off.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Lala with the Twinkie is Schmeagle with a fish.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
literally
Well,
one.
with those, same thing with those suction-y cup fingers. Trying to lick those
Yep.
clean would be
Yep.
just, yeah, okay.
Yep.
There's an image.
Yep.
Go
That's
Goose.
Lala.
Yeah.
How does an octopus clean their tentacles off? Anyway, I don't want to think about it. Let's look back. Bears are also known for getting easy meals. There's a container filled with easy, unguarded, convenient sweets and food.
Sweet, 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 sweet.
You just had one.
Sweet, sweet.
So
I don't think these bears are doing it maliciously.
you see the gears turning in Lottie's head. He goes, "Oh, so they took the food from the thing and then they ate it because they woke up."
Yes.
I see. It all makes sense now.
Yes, a honey heist, if you will, as Chad has pointed out. At that moment,
Goose kind of like they're still walking, but like they have visually locked up, and we see the desktop one more time.
yeah.
The little desktop Goose has pulled open a video of a honey bun with sad dramatic music as it slowly zooms in with R.I.P. on the bottom. I know Goose looks a little bit sad when it comes back to reality.
Oh, that's a reroll. I know you already I told you all you had infinite numbers of rerolls, but nobody used them earlier tonight. I don't even care. Have another one. That was ridiculous.
Yes.
We've raised the bar and you're still getting them. So you continue to move forward and ponder this. The little bear kind of scoots out ahead of you a little bit and gets to this place where he peeks over a bank of ice. Big grin on his face. Turns around, reaches around behind himself again and pulls out 4 more Twinkies. And looks at Lala and kind of puts one in one hand and holds the other 3 at a distance. And kind of reaches the one towards Lala.
Oh, Lala just snags it. Like,
And while you're distracted, he distributes the other 2, or attempts to distribute the other 2. Are you taking them?
Yeah, I'll open the package and then I'll just smush it into the glass with my face.
Try and
Goo
lick it off
is-
the inside with that freaky axolotl tongue. Yeah.
Goo's gonna look at the bear.
Yeah.
They're gonna reach into their backpack and they're gonna pull out like a piece of lettuce to let them know like I am vegetarian.
Right.
But they're going to stay looking at the bear open their mouth to show all those horrific teeth,
Yeah.
and like somebody mutilating a chicken leg,
Yeah.
tear the lettuce apart.
Just,
Eat it.
yeah. They watch this, absolutely fascinated. And then at the end of it, they kind of point at you and go, and mime eating grass off the ground. Haha, you're a herbivore. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna do this narrative, if you don't mind.
Please do.
They finish mimicking, like kind of having their fun,
Yeah.
and they see Goose's head like a creepy marionette, like shudder and twitch, and then like a pulse, like a ripple going over their feathers and body.
Mm-hmm.
We see their feathers flip and change color, and their body kind of grows, and their neck grows longer. Their beak becomes a little bit more straight. They shake themselves off, and they look at the bear, and then they do the wing things like what? Not fully open, just like arm, like wings up, like what?
One hand very quickly goes behind their back, shaking really bad, and comes out with the fruit roll up. And just shaking violently hands that towards you. There's no fruit in it, but that's all they got.
They're going to very gently push their hand back to them, just pat their hand like, no, it's fine.
They eat the fruit roll up and both the Twinkies. Just, they look at you and they fold up the wrappers very carefully and reach around behind them and put them. They don't have a fanny pack or anything on. There's no idea where this is coming from, although the chamber in the cheek might be a giveaway. But yeah, they put it away. Fruit-ish, yes. Caution may contain fruit. You finish that just in time, or they finish that just in time, and you finish your lettuce and a second. Wow, I'm just thinking how much sugar compared to body mass 2 Twinkies is for a sugar glider. And it's all processed. It takes 0 time to hit. Just
Lala has gone from 0 to 60
yeah, all-
million.
And for the
in
second time
2
today, too. Yeah, just cranking back up again. As you get to this little hill and look over, you see a bunch of these, just like they scratched in the wall, a bunch of these little sort of almost like a beehive oven, more than a beehive itself. You know, the ones that just, they're round, they come to a point, with doors in them and little windows cut in them. And you see a whole bunch of bears running around, big ones and little ones. And I mean, they're all little, but there's, you know, the adults are as tall as goose, normal goose, not puffed up scary goose. But speaking of which, I've waited as long as I possibly can. I'm trying to figure out a way to work it in nervely, but I don't. I just want to know, what does goose stand for?
Okay. Goose's name is an acronym, like, of all of the different geese, his names.
Okay.
As like Goose is like looking at around, every time they change, it's actually a completely different goose coming to the surface.
Okay.
Like, kind of like a hive mind.
Yes.
So, the toothy one, or tooth goose as I've been calling him. Here, let me open it up. His name is Gus.
Okay. Yep.
Uh,
I love where this is going.
the Australian one is named Zonky.
Zonky. Okay.
No, I'm gonna do that one last. That one's my favorite. The cobra chicken is named Oscar.
Oscar. Yeah.
And the bell goose is named Chicken.
It
It starts with an O. Clearly, it starts with an O.
Yeah, got it.
It's actually
Yeah.
funny because I used to have a cat named Chicken. But never mind. Yeah, okay. A flock. Yes, you are. In humans, you would be called legion. In goose, you are called flock. You are the many. But oh,
guess, like,
chicken, it's silent.
another way to view it is like these guys are like the goose version of a trill,
Yes. Yep.
but
makes
they
sense.
physically change for
Yes.
whichever one is in control.
Yes, because you've got a better CGI budget than they had. And better tech. So, you see this peaceful little town hanging out below you. What do you do?
Are there little bear people about?
There are little adult bear people. There are little baby bear people. A couple of them are like looking out of doors, like it's the first time they've seen light, because it is. They were born during this hibernation. There's a big pile. They put it all in one place, and they got a big rock on it. But there's a big pile of wrappers from all the food that they stole.
Are they looking at us like we have like 17 million heads? Do they look wary?
They
Do
haven't
they
seen
look
you yet.
angry?
You're sort of up on a hill peering over an edge. Your little bear
Okay.
friend looks at you and points down there and points at you like, you want to go?
Goose is gonna like look back at the trail, scan for boot prints,
Okay.
and then look back at the village and do the same like they did with the goo.
Yep.
Look to see if there was any remnants of those boot prints, but only they will be able to see it.
Absolutely. You scan. Please give me your roll. Please succeed. Do it with advantage because you're cybernetically goosed. Oh, critical successes.
Oh.
What a perfect time to get this, narratively speaking. You see ahead of you, about halfway between you and the village, two humans dressed in colony gear. They are sitting there with another book, and they've got the pointy stick, and they're doing this. They're apparently stabbing the book with this pointy stick, is all you can see, and looking at the village below them, and arguing. And the mimicry that this little dude did, like he wasn't just mimicking two people; he was mimicking these two people. So they've been watching them for a while, enough to mock them. Yeah. You see that on the way down, on the way there.
The other two can hear camera clips like as they're taking a picture of these two people and like making sure there's a wide frames to show they are right there and the village is right there with the bears.
Yeah. And the whole village is playing like they have no idea that they're there, but you realize from what the little bear has showed you, they've been watching the watchers.
They're aware of them. They're just choosing not to do it.
Yes.
Not to interact.
And there's 150 bears in this village. They know those two have been sitting up there watching them for 3 or 4 days, and they've done nothing.
Okay. A little video screen in everyone's cups shows little bears with a check mark and a thumbs up. Like, yeah, you guys are not evil. We're good. That shows the two people with the book and the pencil with a question mark.
I'm so glad you didn't start this episode with open fire, because it would have been horrible for you to find out at the end that they weren't the baddies. So, what do? You can see the two. They're clearly colony members. It happened. It happened weeks ago in the real world, but in the game, it was only like earlier today. There were two people who went out. Supposedly going to look at these creatures and were never heard from again and presumed dead and killed. These appear to be them. They are definitely not deaded or killed.
Goose is gonna look at the other two. Do we want to do this stealthy?
No, we have an escort. And like Lala just kind of points at their bear friend of like,
I just want to hear what they are saying without them getting us involved yet.
Should we roll up to them? Like, do we just go on the ground and we go roll, and then we're gonna be quiet, right?
I have a thing for being stealthy. I
The
want an
famous duck
excuse to use it.
cannonball approach. I love it. Lottie is slightly confused as to how geese operate. So, you want to sneak up? Give me a sneak.
Hold on. Which one? This one. So,
Comes with pizzicato violin strings.
when everyone agrees that they are going stealthy, the mechanical arms twist and lock onto the collar, like when they were flying,
Yeah.
and they turn towards the people who start to walk, and as they go, like a really well done movie that named like called Predator. I'm just gonna say it, like the movie
Yeah.
Predator.
Yeah.
You see the goose turn invisible
Yeah.
as I have cloaking field.
Yep. Perfect.
All tests to locate you when you are hidden are at disadvantage.
Yes.
We are gone.
So that weird cubic sort of outline of a goose
Yeah.
crosses the space. You hear in the far distance, flap, flap. Very, very quietly now. You sneak up. That was too good an idea. You don't have to roll. This is perfect. Nobody can see an invisible goose with invisible companions. You sneak up behind them. You can look over their shoulder and read the writing in the book before the ink is dry. But you can hear them talking too. And they've given most of them names. You can see that the group that they're talking about is kind of out in front. It's all adults, like they're all full size. And it appears to be that they're having one of these conversations. They're not eating at the moment, but they are sitting on a circle of logs around a campfire that would normally be out or on, but it's not. It's off at the moment. Off? It's out at the moment. Turn the campfire off. Anyway,
Alexa.
nobody can see an invisible goose. That's right. That is a quote, and that is a sentence that you very rarely get to say unless you're playing a game. So, you sneak up and look over their shoulders. They're taking notes just like they had before. The only big step forward is it says the last thing that they wrote down says, a decision appears to be imminent. Can't wait for their next meal. And they do that shot from below the two of them, like from sort of the bear point of view, if any of them looked up. So you see the two of them looking over, and behind them just it's the invisible goose. Yeah. With that information, the two of you that can read. Oh, no, sorry, we've got a reader going. So yes, Lottie, you get the printout, or the verbal. Yeah, the text to voice.
Goose.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to make sure we're not like discovered because of text to speech, the dome will come over it, so only Lottie can hear it.
Yeah. Yeah, and you get the full holographic history of the whole thing. So you continue to move. You're standing right there with these guys. What do you do?
You guys don't have any inputs?
Well, there's a dome on my head. You don't want Lottie to do something.
Well, you can whatever you think the backpack can do, it can do it. So if you
Yes.
think that there is a PA system, there's a PA system. If you
Damn
think
straight
there's
there is.
cup holders, there's cup holders.
Yes, there is. There is
So-
also an explosion in the bear camp. From a ridge behind you and off to one side, an explosive projectile bursts into the camp. It hits one of the houses and shatters it. Two figures dive out of it just in time to avoid being damaged. And all the little bears start to scurry. They're not running to their houses. They're running past them and back towards the ice wall, the glacier wall.
How are the two people sitting right in front of us reacting to
They
that?
leap up and turn around. They totally don't see you. Even if you weren't invisible, they wouldn't be seeing you because they're looking up back in the same direction the shot came from. And one of them says, "Those bastards." The other one says, "They wouldn't." And the other one says, "They did." And they start running down towards the all but abandoned village down below you.
Goose clicked a beak, like in the movie.
Yeah.
They turn into Tooth Goose, and the backpack clicks open where the chainsaw is, and they look back at the two. I think we know our enemy. Turn towards where the missile came from, and like an angry goose, charges.
Oh, the missile
So
is
now-
the enemy.
You're still invisible, but anybody who's watching and the camera can you hear flap, 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 like dragon feet slamming into the ice. Are you doing the running takeoff thing? Are we flying? Plaps. I like that even better. Plap, 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 plap.
I am viewing it like this.
Is it-
Chicken and Gus can only do the farm goose thing where they can glide at your face.
Yep,
They can't actually fly.
yep.
But Oscar and Zonky can actually fly.
Okay. So, who's flying or who's running or flying? Who have we got here now? This is I forgot. This is Zonky with the teeth.
With the teeth, it is Gus.
Gus. Okay. So, what altitude are we at?
Gus is always like climbing, like leaping up onto things to get higher, and like as they're
Okay.
doing this, the field is gone. They're visible now.
Boom, boom, boom. Yeah.
They're just-
run out of the invisibility field. Yep.
This is like one of those scenes where the monster is climbing up onto things and gliding to get there faster.
Oh yeah, just plap, plap, poof, poof, off a wall, poof, poof, monk running like Prince of Persia shit, off of boxes and everything else. Yes, the Valkyries, Flight of the Valkyries playing on the speakers. In the backpack, yeah, just da 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 da, as the attack
don't-
goose makes way.
But it's not playing in the background. It's Lala.
Oh, no. Oh yeah.
I don't know how long Goose has actually been around Lottie and Lala, but this is probably the first time they have ever seen Goose
Yep.
lose control.
Yep. This is a lose
Lala's
goose.
loving it. She's like, yeah.
Of course,
Hey,
you.
okay.
Riding it like a dragon rider. Just yes, let's
Yeah.
go.
I like to think that a karaoke machine just popped into Lala's
Yep.
cup holder.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, little tiny
Lala has a
microphone.
mic, and a little speaker comes up over Goose's
Yeah.
shoulder, and she's like,
The words.
she's like going for it.
Oh, I can actually make this a little bit better.
Okay, please do.
Hold on.
Ah,
So, in case you didn't notice, there is an aux cord port right there on the
yes,
head.
there is. Yes,
Yes.
there is. Yep.
So you
Yep.
actually don't have to do much
I was going
To
there.
just- to plug the microphone or even the speakers in and play whatever the heck you
Yeah.
want.
And Bison, that is exactly what had happened in my head too. The karaoke lyrics are written there, but it is Lottie who can't read, so all it says is dun 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 dun, and they're singing their guts out as they roar towards the baddies. You burst out of one of these little emerald canyons into an open area, and you see 3 of them, the genetically modified, the only 3 that had weapons when you were back at the camp, led by Sergeant Wilberforce, is attacking the camp below you. Let's see if they saw you. No, they did not see you coming. Let's take him some time with this ambush attack. Get us there, please, if you would, Goose. Get us to the range that you're getting to, whether that be in their face, near their face, or far away from their face.
I know that Lottie is ranged.
Yeah.
Lala is ranged.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys get a warning in your cups that you're going to be deployed.
Yep,
Mhm.
yep,
Because Goose is a melee person.
yep.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, Lala has her ejection sheet
Yes, it's already there.
Easy.
ready
Yep.
to go.
Yep.
Just so she can.
So yeah, you Lottie, you see a button pops up in front of you, and it's just got a spring with a Lottie on top of
He's kind of just spinning through the air, and he lands on both feet,
it.
and then pulls out his gun.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Excellent. We are ready to go. So yes, the two of you land, and the goose just barrels headlong into combat. You are out. Humans are always the baddies. Always. I mean, write what you know. Some of us are amazing, but there's some rotten bastards. Speaking of which, Sergeant Wilberforce and his two minions have no idea you're coming. Let's do the ranged weapons first. So, you're wasted on sugar. Let's go with the sugar glider. You get the first shot. What are you doing?
Lala is going to go berserk because
Yes.
she can.
Yes.
Yeah, Lala can go
Two
berserk on
Twinkie
sugar.
sugar buzz. Just
Yeah.
yeah.
So she launches out of Goose's backpack, singing Flight of the Valkyries at the top of her lungs. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, da, 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 da!
Now they know we're here.
So as you're flying through the air, not till after all three of you have had a shot, what are you doing? You shooting them? You doing something?
Oh yeah, she has her crossbow.
Flying through the air.
Yeah. And
With
she's just gonna
advantage.
shoot. Yep, rated
Who are you
Sergeant.
shooting?
Wil-
One of the minions?
Oh, Sergeant.
Or the boss? You're
Oh, no.
shooting no Wilberforce right in the Wilberforce?
Oh yeah, Ray Wilbur, and
Excellent.
she's going right for his nose.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. If you critical, you will get exactly what you asked for.
Okay.
The closer you get to that, the closer you'll get to his nose. Let's see where you hit him.
All right.
'Cause I like bending the
roll
rules.
For
Let's make dice
I
mean
just clicked
something,
the
not just-
advantage.
Yes, the one that says advantage.
Yeah. Oh. Oh no.
I know.
Wow. You know, as a GM, you kind of have a list of dreams, like a GM bucket list, and 3 1s. Oh man, Lala, I got it. You 100 or 200 crossbow.
I think it's a one-handed.
Perfect. So you're flying through the air, gliding
That's
through
light
the air.
range.
You reach out with this hand and pull the trigger. What you don't realize is that the bolt has gotten hooked in your sleeve. So you shoot yourself Wile E. Coyote style directly at them. You miss, but this battle starts with Lala landing on the ground and skidding right between the three of them to a stop in a little cloud of icy green dust and looking up. Lala, the three of them look down at you. What do you say?
Lala just kind of looks at one, looks at the other, looks at the sergeant. She goes, "How could you?"
And with that, his little eyes just rolling back in her head, spit and drool that comes out like, "How could you?"
Oh wait, no. See, Robin, you're right, but I want to keep this. This is too good.
Oh, the 3
This is
1s.
too
Yeah,
good.
you're now you're just where you don't want to be. So,
Yeah.
with that, Lottie,
Yeah.
what are you
Okay.
doing?
I think Lottie. Oh, sorry. Hey. So Lottie got told that these were the enemy.
Yep.
So,
Plus, they're attacking the big fuzzy bears that are clearly friendly,
yeah, no, these aren't friends. Can't be
Yes.
friends.
not friends.
So I'm gonna use one action to focus, and then I'm gonna shoot them with my gun.
Excellent. Okay. Well, it's hard to shoot with the spacesuit on.
Yeah.
That pressure we were talking about earlier screws it
Yeah.
up. You fire around into a hill nearby. Just big chunk of ice falls and crashes down into the valley below.
Oh, I actually have marksman, so because of the 3, that would actually hit.
Oh, the
The
3
marksman.
actually hits because you
Yeah.
have yes. It bounces off of that chunk of ice and weirdly comes back and actually hits. Who were you shooting? The sergeant?
Yeah.
Okay. This makes perfect sense because it comes bouncing back and smashes into them, knocking big chunks of their armor off. You haven't actually done any damage to them, but you've ruined their armor. At that moment, a goose arrives. I'm doing that because of the Doppler effect as you get closer. Yeah, you were coming in at speed, teeth glinting in the sun, the light of the Emerald Glacier lighting your way.
And the red orb is now glowing super bright. Like, it's not like, I know the picture has it blink, but it's not blinking
No.
anymore.
Yeah.
What are they using to attack the village?
The sergeant has the big heavy weapon that he just fired into the village. The other two have got regular rifles, just regular laser rifles.
Goose's mechanical arms are going to reach behind them, grab the chainsaw, start it up, and with one motion try and break the heavy weapon.
Okay, wow. And just one-handed swing over the top. Give me a roll with advantage because you've been training for years with this chainsaw, like a good goose does. Holy cow! Want to use your reroll?
Yes.
Okay. Doom music intensifies. Yes. Yeah, you and it's like, ha, you missed it. No, I didn't. And you cut across the weapon itself, knocking the heavy weapon out of their arms. They are disarmed. And thank you also, Lottie, for reminding us that you get 2 actions in a round. So go ahead, Goose, and you still have 1 more action.
Goose's other mechanical arm that's not holding the gun is going to swell again
Yep.
and try and pull the guy's leg out from under him.
Okay. Give me, that's 2 dice, right? Because you're not, you're proficient in one-handed
Because
or
I
two-handed?
have the cyber arm, so
Yes.
I have
Oh, so it is
advantage for
advantage, yeah.
lifting, carrying,
Yep.
or budging
Yep.
things.
Yep, you are lifting, and if you're lucky, carrying, and also, no, you grab him. He's covered in the ice of this area, and your hand slips off. Unfortunately, he backs away. At least he's got no weapon now except for his little pistol. But it is
All
there.
he sees is just the teeth.
So he's like, oh shit! He shoots at you, Goose, because you're right there. Oh. 2 points of damage. He pulls out his pistol. No, hang on. This is his pistol. He is not proficient with this. You knocked away the thing he's proficient with, so never mind that roll. No. He pulls out his pistol and shoots the same spot that that Lottie shot a minute ago, but this time it doesn't bounce back because they don't have any rerolls. The other 2 spin and fire. Actually, one of them just reaches. You're right in front of him on the ground. Just reaches up and tries to shoot Lala on the ground. This is with advantage. 1 success. So yeah, blam! You try and roll out of the way, but right through the wing. Like right through. You're not flying anywhere for a little while because you've been shot through the wing, and you take 1 point of damage. And
Lala literally screams, like screams.
more in anger than in pain. You just, how dare you? The other one tries to shoot. Yeah, they can still see Lottie, so they have a go. Yeah, Lottie, you get hit for 1 point as well. It's just blam, blam. The 2 laser pistols go off. They time their pew pew just right, so it's pew 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 pew, and they both hit. 1 point to one of you. Actually, 1 point to each of you. Back to you guys. Let's just keep it at the same order. You're right in amongst them now. Lala, what are you doing?
So Lala screams, and to save everybody's ears,
Yeah,
I won't do
We'll
that.
take it as read. Yes.
But yeah, and as she does, she kind of, screams, and she wheels around because she's been going for Sergeant Wilbur, right? And she screams, she's like, ah! And she has her crossbow, and she takes, a shot at the one who shot her.
Yep. No, you can
It's
either
like, no!
focus and take
No!
a shot and hit on a 4, 5, or 6, or take 2 shots that hit on a 5 or a 6.
No, she's too hyped up to focus.
Just double shot.
Like,
Yeah,
she
okay.
just double
And
shots
you're
it.
raging. We'll give us advantage twice. You can only get
Okay.
advantage so many times. So. Oh dear, that was so close to being really, really bad.
Oh
and
my
that
God.
still wasn't good. Yeah, you were too hard. Just like blam, blam, and it just like they're firing off into space. You're just not getting this.
Yeah.
You're too angry. Lottie.
Okay, so I'm gonna take out the mustache that I stored back
Yep.
after I used it for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it on one of the bullets I'm gonna shoot. Don't think about it too hard.
Yep. I'm not. No, you put it on the end of the. You put it on the end of the gun and shoot, and it takes it away.
Yeah,
Bullet.
I'm gonna
blank,
use I'm gonna focus again, and then I'm gonna use heavy weapons expert to try to ricochet this back and forth to hit everyone with the a mustache, just like kind of just slap them.
Absolutely wonderful. And before you roll, remember you have a.
Oh.
Never mind. I was gonna say,
Sorry.
remember you have a reroll. Okay. We're just gonna play this out. You fire the first one, and it goes ping, ping, ping. Hits each one of them once because you had 3 successes.
Yeah.
It's the same bullet, but we're now gonna see how many people it hits. We're gonna let you roll until you miss.
Okay.
So next. Wow. It's like a game of pinball. It's just between 3 bumpers, and it's just going. Keep going. This is the deadliest axolotl ever, and 2 more. Blam, blam. So yeah, boom, 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 and finally it misses and skitters off down the valley into the distance. Yeah, 8 points of damage on one shot. That's
I'll go ahead
because you
and,
used focus. So yes, okay.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna go ahead and draw angry eyebrows onto my to my,
Like your
my thing.
dome.
And everyone,
It's
I
like
forgot to mention
How
yeah,
that
just-
Sharpie squeaks.
Yeah, there's
right?
angry eyebrows, and as you're mentioning angry eyebrows, as you look at your victims, they've each got every place they were shot has an entry wound that looks like a mustache. So, oh wow, with that, Goose, you're in amongst them.
Also, goodbye mustache.
Yes, there's hardly yes, yeah, your mustache is gone. You're gonna have to get a new one. It is
Damn it.
deceased to be. So one minion looks right on the brink of being done. One minion is 1 square behind on the brink of being done, and the sergeant would be 2 squares away from on the brink of being done. What would you like to do? Fear the little ones indeed, yes.
I
2
think
actions.
I think Goose. Hold on, which one was that one? I gotta remember. Like, there's a
People
moment
say-
of pause. We go into Goose's mind. We see the 3 other geese are like arguing. Zonky does not want to kill anybody, and then Gus, who's in control, whips around, demands that Oscar come forward to help him,
Yep.
and tells Zonky to shut the hell up. So, we see Goose kind of inflate a little bit, so their body is that of the Canadian Goose,
Yep.
but their head is still Gus.
Oh,
Yep.
that's terrifying.
Oh yeah.
It's so scary.
As the 2 most bloodthirsty of the 4 are in charge, and they're going to try and cut into the sergeant with the
Absolutely.
with a chainsaw.
He's backing away from you, going, I can't believe you're on their side. They're invaders. They must be stopped. This planet is. Oh! That's the first shot. This planet is
That's the first
ours. We got here. Second shot misses, unless you want to reroll. We're coming to the end. You might as well. You've got at least 2.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. You hit him again. You can't possibly be on their side.
Goose is gonna look at the sergeant, and they're going to bring up this hologram display from their orb to show the planet that Goose is from,
Yep.
showing that it is a human planet that has been conquered by geese. Looking at him like, yeah, you
That's
keep preaching
perfect.
that. You keep preaching that.
It's the enemy's turn now. The two minions just look at that and look at their leader cowering and just drop their weapons and just start backing away. Like, just don't kill us, don't kill us, don't kill us, just backing away. Sergeant Wilberforce looks up at you from the ground, which is where he's fallen. You're looking him right in the eyes. He's got one hand on the ground. He's bleeding from multiple wounds. He's been mustached multiply. Stabbed, shot, all kinds of bad stuff has happened to him. The little bears come up around you, just appear in a ring around you. And they all stop and kind of, everything stops for a moment. Sergeant Wilberforce is groveling on the ground in front of you, absolutely powerless to do anything. The little bears look on, waiting to judge what the three of you do next.
Lala kind of goes, Goose! Like, to kind of like snap Goose. Like,
Yeah.
like, don't!
Aw.
And she's like, you know, she's like, she's wired and she's going, but like, that means everything for her is heightened, right?
Yeah.
Everything, not just rage. So she's
Yeah.
like,
And you notice there's a tiny little bit of Twinkie cream right above one eyebrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. They missed.
Goose turns into Zonky. The hologram display is gone. They're actually now blinking like normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, makes us no better than they are.
You see like the arm reach around and like you can hear metal sliding, and they pull out heavy duty handcuffs.
Yep.
Like these are the ones that you would require like all four of the geese to unlock.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Good luck with that.
I'm envisioning like bracers with like 3 sets of chains that go across. That would be challenging to get out of. You put the locks way up here so you can't get your hands to them. Yeah. I just invented a new way to torture people. That's nice. Must be a Friday. Anyway, yeah, you cuff him up in a position where he is absolutely helpless. While you're doing that, Lottie, I want to know how Lottie One Thought processes this.
Oh, frick. No, I think while Lala's focused on Goose being in a rage, you see like Lottie raise his gun,
Yeah?
not quite processing that we're over. It's over now.
Yeah?
Then he pauses for a sec, and you see the gears turn as the handcuffs come up and they're being put on. And he's like, "Wait, they destroyed my mustache."
I like to think that whenever Lottie has really intense thought, we just see carbonation bubbles form in the
Bubbles.
Lottie, you stole my mustache. And behind you, your new little bear friend reaches around up into their beard. It was on this side, yeah. And digs around for a second. And then pulls out the fluff, their piece of fluff that they gave to you to match, and then that you gave back. And they, with amazing dexterity considering the length of their claws, they macrame you a new mustache. And they hold it out over your, and then they take a bit of the food that you've been smearing on the bottom of your faceplate this entire, and they use that to stick it, the mustache, right in the middle of your head. So you're inside, but there's a big macrame mustache. There it is. Yep. Yeah, a big macrame mustache on the glass.
I looks very happy.
And the bears all around you look, and they open a gap, and the two minions just run, just headlong back towards the colony. The last one is just on his knees waiting for you to take him away. And the bears start to sing, and I'm not going to try and do it because there's like 100 of them. But it's not that sad note anymore. It's much happier. And they start playing drums, and yes, you've seen this scene before. They're not going to take you up in the trees, but they're going to take you to their village. And they're going to drum, and they're going to show you glacier wine, and they're going to invite you to a party while they put this bad man, this sergeant, in a wicker cage for the course of the night. You can have him tomorrow, they kind of intimate to you. You still can't speak to them. But you were invited to a party of these bears. And over the course of the night, they draw pictures in the sand, and they act out scenes. They're very, very good mimics and actors. You catch them mimicking to each other in the darkness. You catch the kids mimicking the three of you. And one of them is going through like transformations as they're trying to show all of the gooses that they've seen. Other one, yeah, there's multiple versions of all of you. The kids in the back, they think it's terribly funny, but they're mimicking all of you. The adults are handing you drink after drink after drink. Vegan in some cases, as needs be. Although, yeah, it would be, probably. But anyway, the drums are playing, the sun goes down, the cold air is driven back by the huge fire that they build out of all the wrappers of the garbage of the food. They bring out Twinkies. They bring out all kinds of treats. And you can see you're absolutely right, Goose. It's spring. They're hungry. They're on a planet that has no natural food. They show you spaceships that brought them here. They're colonizers just like you were, just like the people you were protecting. They got here 5 years ago not knowing that the winters were 3 years long. Now that they know, they can plan for it in the future, and they can let you know to tell the colony next fall, 3 years from now, when it goes back to being winter, just wait. But they're friendly, they're sociable, they're brilliant. They start showing you science and technology that's nothing like anything you've seen. This thing that melted out of the ice, if any of you hadn't figured out the movie this one was based on very, very loosely, was not evil. But the response to it was. And the three of you from Sapiens Incorporated, maybe because you're not human, saw it for what it was. A lie based on fear.
Yep.
Somebody, go ahead.
No, I am agreeing.
And I was
But
going
I
to
think
say, yeah.
I think by morning Goose would have finally been able to start translating what they're saying.
Yes, absolutely. By the morning, you can get their oral histories as their shamans, especially the old bear that you saw earlier, tells you these wonderful tales that you know they're half myth, but they certainly get the idea across. So as the sun comes up the next morning, mission accomplished, your baddie is still in jail. Let's close tonight with your thoughts. Start with Goose.
Goose thoughts on all this. Wow. The entire time they've been going around during the party, they've been kind of like analyzing the environment, seeing if they can help these bears make like long-term solutions, especially because they hibernate for 3 years.
Yep.
See if there's any way we can help them so they don't steal from another colony.
Yeah, you found they got caught short, is basically. They just weren't prepped. So with a bit of help, they can be a stable, self-sustaining colony. They just didn't have time.
Yeah. Thanks, Bison.
Luckily
Like,
for
as-
us, these aren't bears, and these little fuckers, Bison, hibernate.
I mean, they could just go kill the Bisondillos. Make it even. Anyway, as they're like hanging around all this, like they're checking in on the humans, they're checking in on the bears, and really getting into everything. I guess you could say,
Yeah.
like really seeing how things are going. In Goose's brain, they get a pop-up window of a Canadian goose with two cybernetic, no, sorry, like six cybernetic eyes, asking how the Hydra brain test has gone and what they have found. And the little desktop goose waddles over and blocks the number with a message not for conquering.
Wow. And a weapon of war says, no, I will not. I have had an epiphany. Whew. You guys gonna have trouble following that, but let's have it a go. The sugar's starting to wear off. Lala, you did it. These people, I mean, there's lots of sugar in the drink too, like honeyed mead and stuff. They know, they see a kindred spirit. And you're drinking high sugar drinks all night long. As gibbled as you want to be is the answer to one of the questions. And what are your thoughts as you party the night away?
Lala definitely has a good time. You know, she's bouncing around. She's definitely like bouncing through troughs of snow.
Yeah.
And she finds herself kind of, you know, playing hide and seek with some of like the younger bears,
yes.
right?
Yep.
Because she'll like dive in and scurry through and, you know, pop up and, you know, it's seek and chase and seek and chase. But at some point, you know, the sugar does start to wear off, and Lala, you know, she's kind of like Goose, not as analytical, but, you know, like she's making friends as much as she can. And she kind of, at one point, you see Lala, you know, it's kind of like, where did Lala go? Wait, where's Lala? Where's Lala? Lala has fallen asleep, nestled in the fur of one of the bear people, and just is like curled up in their fur, and like that's like, this is where she lives now. Like this is, you know, and she's for the first time that anybody has seen her asleep.
And
she's so tired.
The last thing you see as your eyes flutter shut, you're like, this is weird. I don't understand this. Like, what's happening to me? Oh God, am I dying? You know, like you never slept before. The last thing you see is these kids that you've been playing with. Somebody has taken sheets and tied them around their wrists and their ankles, and these kids are running around pretending to be you.
Oh, that's so cute.
That's adorable.
You see one of them jump off the house about 30 feet up and just plummet to the ground. It's boof. They just bounce and jump up and run away because they're kids and they're bears. There's no way that hurt.
Yeah, of course.
And with that, you snuggle up, and everybody that's looking sees this bear kind of like, okay, and they wrap you up comfortably and just let you go to sleep like you're their kid.
Well, you can never get up.
Nope, no, they got to stay there all night until you wake up in the morning. But they're a mom, so they got this figured. They're used to numb bumdinitis, which is what you get for sitting there all night with your kid in your lap. Which brings us to, and I did this on purpose, as great as those two were, I want to leave the last take on this experience to Lottie.
All right. I think near the start when we're looking at like the scientific stuff, I think Lottie takes mental notes as much as he can, because you know he does gun stuff and he shares baseline knowledge with them, and they like go back and forth about weaponry probably. But then I think near the end when everyone's partying, he sits on an iceberg and he's just twirling his mustache. Your job well done.
And you look at there's the fire behind you and your shadow in front, and you're twirling your mustache. The shadow's not right though. There's too many Lotties. And you turn around and there's a bunch of these kids that followed you too, and they're all sitting on an iceberg. They've all twisted their facial hair into mustaches, and they're all sitting behind you twirling their mustaches.
They've twisted their fur up into like axolotl little things.
Exactly. They're like spit, and they're using their tickle spit. There we go. Let's do a full wrap around. They're using their tickle spit to make the little spikies and the little gills. And and you sit there and watch that. Goose, I got to give you some too. We actually saw yours already. The one that kept changing, the one that was acting earlier and kept doing all of your all of your personas. And you see that they've gathered quite a crowd. As dawn rises, the old bear walks towards you and grins. And now that you can understand them, Goose, he says something in his language, and the translator in your system says, I guess we'd better go speak to the people that don't want to shoot us.
Goose will nod. I can translate for you.
And you make the long trip back, all the way back to the colony. And when you first get there, people are staring out in fear and all that bullshit. But you teach them. They're humans. They can learn if you give them time. You know, of the sentient species, I guess they'll do. But you get them figured out in the end, and you get boundaries set. And as you get ready to leave, your shuttle is already warming up, and there's sort of a behind you. And you turn around, and there's the full complement of bears and the full complement of people. And the head of the colony and the old bear look at each other and kind of nod. And all together, as you're climbing up into the ship, you hear, "Ah," and the door closes. And you head back home to report success. Yep.
I think the final thing with Goose, one of their USBs was to make like a translation program for the colony.
Yep. Makes perfect sense. Done.
2, their final USB was their entire memory of this mission.
The whole
That
story.
they unplug and then they hand to I'm actually having to really debate this because one, Lottie has one brain cell.
Yep.
2, I don't know about Lala because
Yes.
they're very energetic.
Yes, they might
So I
mistake
think-
it for a candy and eat it.
They're gonna give it to Lottie.
Okay.
They're gonna point at this USB while looking at Lottie. That goes nowhere. But hold on to that.
Hold on
As-
to it.
As Goose purges their memory of that entire mission. And it's as though they never went.
Wow. I don't like to end to end one shots on cliffhangers, but that's friggin' beautiful. That is absolutely the last moment after all of that. Goose just goes gone. So
Don't worry,
that's where we'll drop
it
the
wasn't
curtain.
it's not a sad thing. It's not a sad
No,
thing,
no,
don't
I
worry.
get it. I get it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's just I mean, you might as well have written -Finn across the screen. That was the spot.
Yeah.
So we will drop the curtain right there. Whew. The first one was funny, like end-to-end crazy comedy funny. Tonight was funny in places and desperately not funny in other places. And that takes talent on the part of the players, and I appreciate that very, very much. Knowing when to throw the joke in and when to play the scene seriously is a skill that you all have with bells on. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Speaking of thank yous, thank you so much, Hellhounds 20. This whole story, and you got the backstory out, and you got the happy ending, and you got the character development all in 2 episodes. Well done. Thank you. Always a pleasure. We need to do this way more often. Miyu, I'm going to start with we need to do this way more often this time because this is fun. You are able to bring these innocent and sweet little characters into these sometimes horrible environments, but they always manage to stay so sweet and wonderful. And I appreciate that down to the bottom of my heart because I can't do it. My characters turn into bastards almost immediately. And I appreciate somebody that can keep them decent in the face of nastiness. So thank you, thank you, thank you. and Mana. Oh, I've seen you play a couple of different characters, but this one was different. Just the
Yeah.
sheer, just the freak show. Just I absolutely love it. In one sense, very one-dimensional, but then when push came to shove, all of a sudden there was the like slow down and think, and we got to see sort of what happens to Lala when she gets to rest. And I think that was a really, really cool way to finish Lala. Was okay, I can sleep now. Right, I earned this. I can sleep. So thank all three of you so much for bringing these really serious but really funny characters to this game. Thank you to chat as always. Lots of input, lots of funny, lots of interaction with us, lots of interaction with each other. Love it. Love you all. Couldn't do this without you. Wouldn't do this without you. And finally, to the people watching on YouTube, you watched the whole damn thing, probably both episodes. Please press the like button and hit that notification bell, because I have proven to be very spotty with putting this stuff up on YouTube. So at least if you hit the bell, you'll be told when I remember to do it. That's all the thank yous, and my voice is going fast. You can hear it. So thank you all, everybody. And until next time, please be nice to each other. Good night.